Welcome to ProjectME, the podcast. I'm your host, Tiffany Carter, the founder of ProjectME, multi-millionaire entrepreneur, former TV newscaster, money-making expert, female empowerment speaker, and self-proclaimed office supply addict. My mission is to take the mystery out of making big money. Every week on ProjectME, the podcast, I'll share success tips, strategies, and stories from other entrepreneurs, experts, and millionaires, showing you exactly how you can achieve your most exceptional life. Now let's get to it. Welcome to ProjectME with Tiffany Carter, the podcast and posse. I'm your host, Tiffany, and this is a special birthday episode. Hashtag Virgo season. I mean, it is a day after my birthday. I'm the 5th. This is September 6th, and I'm doing something special for Virgo season in that every one of you who leaves a 5-star written Apple podcast review of the show, I am going to treat you to a $10 gift card for your beverage of choice just to celebrate the show, the birthday, bring the abundance all around in a beautiful 360-degree circle, as I like to do. And all you got to do is go and leave that written 5-star iTunes review. Make sure you put your name or your Instagram handle inside the review so we know who you are. Take a screenshot and DM me on Instagram at ProjectME with Tiffany. Let me know you left it. If you forget to take a screenshot, it's not the end of the world, but it does create a lot more work for us because we have to go verify that you left that review. It can take a couple days for a podcast review to show up after you've submitted it because Apple screens them for bullying, any kind of weird stuff. So don't freak out when you submit your review and you're like, why isn't it instantly showing up in Tiffany's reviews? Just wanted to give you a heads up for that. If you're like, girl, I don't even know how to leave a review. Guess what? You can Google it. How do I leave a written Apple podcast review? And all the steps will come up for you. And I'm excited to virtually toast you with your drink of choice, saying how much I appreciate you, my loyal listeners, my new listeners. And I love being able to connect with you a couple times a week on the show. I love when you guys take screenshots of the show, especially when you're showing me what you're doing and multitasking while listening, because I know all of you are multitaskers. I mean, we can't help ourselves. And I mean, there's a whole thing out there that says actually multitasking isn't productive. And I just simply don't agree. And guess what? It wouldn't matter anyway, because I can't help myself. So I'm always curious, but some of you are like, girl, I'm in the bathtub, I'm in the shower. I'm not sending you a picture of that, but it'd still be entertaining. Today, I'm sharing a story that I've not shared in depth before that is really going to help you guys scale your mindset as you want to scale your bank account. So it's how I scaled my money mindset from making $17,000 a year to becoming a multimillionaire. Yes, I use strategy. Yes, I got lots of help in coaching and personal development and therapy, made a crap ton of mistakes, lost a ton of money, made a ton of money, tried and experimented with things and failed, tried and experimented with things and won. All of that goes into it as well. But the reality that you hear me say quite often is you can't out-strategize a broken money mindset. And most of our money mindsets, unless you're a very rare breed and were raised in a wonderfully unique way, most of us have broken money mindsets. We have poverty thinking, scarcity thinking. We come up with all sorts of crazy stuff around money. It's interesting. I never thought I had any money mindset issues because money's always been easy for me to make. I know how to make money. I'll never be without money. But it wasn't until I started reaching to a certain level of income, that was when I started hitting anything past, I would say, $180,000 a year. I started getting to that zone and beyond. That's when my money mindset stuff came up. So some of you might be like, I don't think this is a real issue for me. Like, I love money. I welcome money. I want money. I'm all about that life. Like, I'm here for it. I want it. But a lot of times it doesn't come up until that money comes in, or it doesn't come up because that money isn't coming in and you can't figure out why. And you've tried all the things and you've done all the stuff and you don't get what's happening. So you could be in one of those camps. For me, it was me scaling my business way past 180 to that mark. That's where my sticking point was. And really unpacking that, we all have sticking points when it comes to money. Some people call it like an energetic set point. We know I'm like not super eloquent in the way I explain things. I'm kind of just straight up. But we have this kind of a point where is familiar to us. It's comfortable to us. We know we can make it. We know that we're worthy of getting that amount of money. Maybe it's because we know that's what's an industry standard. That expectation was set by our parents, by the college we went to, just by the industry that we're in. And then what happens is, and I see this a lot with my healthcare professionals, in particular, people who are therapists and psychologists who are very underpaid, by the way. I'm well aware of that. There is a industry standard that really the most you're going to make, even as a clinical psychologist with a doctor in front of your name. Okay. Like that's a shit ton of school and hours. Really the most you're going to make, unless you have outside endeavors, like you have a book publishing deal and you're on a TV show or something like that. But if you are strictly have a practice and you're seeing patients, unless you own a practice and have really scaled that and you have multiple practices, it's about $100,000. It could be a little higher, could be 150, but it's certainly not 250. It's certainly not 500, certainly not $1 million. So I'm using this as an example because there's like an industry set point in your head. Like, well, this is what, successful therapists I know make. So this is what I can expect. Then when you want to try to scale and make more than that, there's a lot of discomfort and resistances. Like, who am I to make this? I'm, 15 years younger than other people who have more experience in my field, and they're not making this. And maybe does that mean I care more about money than helping people? And is this just a fluke? Am I overcharging people? All sorts of crap comes up. So we have these beliefs around these set points. When I work inside my, ProjectME Posse group coaching membership or with my private clients, this comes up all the time, regardless of where someone's at, whether someone is starting from scratch as a new entrepreneur or someone is wanting to scale to $1 million a year or multiple millions. I'll say to them, well, let's look at all your offers. How much are we charging? And they're always undercharging. And I'm not someone where increasing your prices is a business plan by any means, but undercharging is also underserving. And it is basically shitting on yourself and your credentials and your intellectual property. You've devalued yourself. That's what I look for. So I recently had a client who has 25 years of experience. I'm not going to give too many details because I didn't ask her permission to share this. So I'm not going to say what niche she's in, but she has 25 years of experience, great credentials, great intellectual property. And we're putting together like a group coaching kind of package for her. And I was like, how much do you want to charge? And she's like, I don't know, $1,000, but I think that's a lot. And I go, no, that's significantly below industry standard. And in fact, if I saw someone priced like that, someone like me would not hire you, because I'd be like, well, God, I guess this person isn't that experienced. I mean, what you are telling people that you are worth in terms of how you structure and price your offers and your time really speaks volumes. And why I'm going so deep into this in this story of how I scaled my mindset is I had to really expand what was possible for me. I had to start by believing, no, it's possible for me to make $250,000 a year doing this. It's possible for me to make $500,000 a year. It's possible and it's available. So those are the two words I really want you to take away from this. It is possible for me and it's available for me. And then what's going to happen, and you might have to keep saying this to yourself. Notice I picked words that are not absolutes because our egos don't like that. If you said, oh, this is for sure happening, like I deserve this, your ego will go to town on you. When you challenge your ego, you ever notice how damn loud it gets and crazy? It gets like really abusive then. So this is possible for me and it is available for me. And then I want you to start noticing evidence of it. And what your ego is going to want to do, it's going to want to pick up evidence that it's not possible. And I was in that pattern subconsciously for a long time. So I wanted more and I kept going, well, I mean, come on, it's just little old me. It's not like I have some big company with all these people. You know, I was never an entrepreneur. Like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm not even good at math. You know, I should be happy with this. I mean, when you look at the statistics, it's a very small percentage of the world is even making over $100,000. So I should just be happy about this. Like, that's me being selfish and, you know, greedy. I mean, all sorts of crap came up. So what I had to do is discipline my mind in looking for evidence that it is possible and available for me to have more. And you don't have, if you don't want to quantify that amount, if you don't really want to quantify that amount, you don't have to. You can say at or around 10,000 a month, at or around 500,000 a year. You don't have to give some like super definitive number. Okay. You could say 500,000 or more, you know, 500,000 or whatever the universe believes, you know, is right now. As long as that feels a little more believable to you. It's not going to necessarily feel comfortable. It feels wild. What was wild to me is that I was taught you had to trade your time for money. If you want to be successful in the world, you have to grind it out, hustle, work your ass off, especially as a female. You have to work a million times harder. You're going to have to sacrifice a lot in your life. You're going to have to give an arm and a leg. And my mom was an entrepreneur. So was my dad. What's interesting is my predominant parent, meaning like I lived with my mom. My mom was an entrepreneur who she inherited the belief of time for money, and you've got to basically kill yourself to be successful. And to my mom's credit, there was truth to that. She's in a different generation. She's one of the first women to graduate Harvard Business School. I mean, there was, these are different times. She worked at, before she started her own business, she worked at, those of you who live in the Midwest, the grocery store chain, Jewel Osco. Okay. Like she worked in the corporate offices of there. At that time, these were all mostly white males at the head. And there's still a lot of that goes on to this day, but it was really hard then. So it's not like some of her stuff didn't have truth, but by the time she passed it to me, those beliefs to me, and it was somewhat outdated. So a lot of times we inherit these outdated beliefs or inaccurate beliefs. Now, my mom having to basically kill herself to have that level of success, she really believed it. She really lived it. And I grew up with a lot of freaking money. So I witnessed that. So I inherited that belief. And then all I kept seeing around me was evidence of that being true. If I want this, I've got to sacrifice heavily on this way. I've got to be kind of miserable and exhausted all the time, which truly is become a norm in corporate America, right? I mean, I remember when I was a corporate employee, it'd be like, I'm so exhausted. Oh my God, we have another meeting. Oh, the emails. it's a weird misery loves company environment. It definitely is not an environment in most companies of abundance. I know some are changing out there, which is great. So you're going to have to really discipline your mind, aka mindfuckery. You're going to have to discipline your mind to finding evidence that is supporting that it is possible and it is available for you. For example, I'm evidence for you. It is, if I was able to build in less than 4 years, just in the second company of mine alone, ProjectME with Tiffany Carter, if I was able to scale this to $1 million a year in revenue with me working on it, I would say on average 25 hours a week. Some weeks are less, some weeks are more, depending on what I have going on and how much luxuriating I'm interested in doing. So if I was able to do that, without a doubt, it's available for you. So I'm evidence for you. But for some of you, I might not be good evidence, even though I know you believe me and I know you respect me and trust me. I might not be good evidence just because it seems too far-fetched. Because I know when I was making $17K a year, seeing someone like me as evidence would have been inspiring and empowering to me, but I don't think it would have sank in it was possible because my ego would have told me lies. Oh, well, she's so much more experienced. She's well-spoken. She's this, she's that. She has lots of investments. She's been an entrepreneur 14 years, right? My ego would have come up with a lot of excuses. And that can happen with looking at other people as examples. Like if we look at Oprah, Beyonce, Tony Robbins, it's like, it's so far-fetched. So for you, you might need to look at people who are making $10,000 consistent months, $5,000 consistent months, $250,000 a year that you can see a relatability with, like, and not in a rude, judgmental way, but it's kind of like, okay, I mean, if Sweet Honey Tits, who has no formal education and is making, $20,000 a month online, and she really doesn't have this incredible business acumen, and in fact, she's not even the most well-spoken person. If she can do it, I can. I almost want you to use that judgmental list that we all have inside of us as supporting evidence. Like, really. That's because we all do it. We all do the comparisonitis when we scroll. It's like, if that person can do it, so can I. Now, there's going to be people you see that are going to more so appeal to your ego, where it's like, oh, that's not possible for you. Look at all they're doing, and you don't know how to do that. And their husband's working for their company, and they know how to do all this tech stuff, and I don't know how to do that, or they have a perfect body, blah, 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 blah. Then those people aren't evidence for you right now. They might be to you later. They're not now. And I would mute them or unfollow them. And if you really love their content, you don't have to, but I really don't want you having anything that isn't supporting evidence for you that it is possible and available to you. Now, what was required for me to take my business from like that $350 a year mark to go well past that to 7 figures? A lot. A lot was required. So what I just taught you now, that's required at all levels of all scalability. But to go from that like 350 mark, right, to for sure I'd say like $1 million in revenue a year, to really do that, that is going to take really uncovering these deep money wounds, self-worth stuff. And you need to have a support system around you. You can't do it alone. You really can't. And I'm not saying it's because you're not like strong enough to or smart enough to. You can't, because we can't see our own blind spots. You need someone who has been through it, who knows what to look for, whether that's me or someone else, to really uncover those money blocks, those money stories that are so interwoven, that are even stored in our bodies and our cells, that we grab onto, that we don't even know we're grabbing onto, that are preventing your growth. It might not even seem like it's tied to money. It might be you saying things like, oh my God, like, who would really pay me when they can pay so-and-so? I don't have a formal business degree. How could I possibly be making that kind of money? That's like crazy, baller cash. Oh, now you're just a money hungry person. I mean, some of these things are not going to be tied to money. They're going to be tied to, can I really do this? Am I really capable? Am I qualified? Do I really have what it takes? That was more so me because I'd done the work on what's possible and available, and that really works for me, along with using all of my affirmations, which if you don't have my affirmation card deck, it's only $10. I highly recommend it. It's at projectmewithtiffany.com/affirmation card deck, projectmewithtiffany.com/affirmation card deck. It's also in the link in my bio on Instagram at ProjectMeWithTiffany, because this is a digital deck, but you can print it out or you can take it to an office store and they will laminate them for you, which I highly recommend. And these are all the affirmations I've used to help me really cement in it's possible and it's available for me. So I have the deck right here. So as an example, I'm just going to pull a card. Why not? I'm alive and here on this earth for a special purpose. The desires and dreams on my heart are what I'm uniquely designed for. I'm alive and here on this earth for a special purpose. The desires and dreams on my heart. Wait a second, I already screwed it up. I am alive and here on this earth for a special purpose. The desires and dreams on my heart are what I'm uniquely designed for. If you notice, this affirmation, along with the others in the deck, are not ones that your ego can really argue against really well. It really can't. I'm not saying, oh, I have millions of dollars in the bank right now. I have hundreds of thousands of dollars coming my way. Because your ego is going to be like, honey, that ain't true. Like your account's really, you're low. Like we don't even know if you can pay your taxes this year. I mean, that's your ego's not going to do that. So that's the benefit of using these kind of affirmations. Along with that, of course, affirmations aren't enough, which is why I'm doing this episode. So back to scaling your mindset with your bank account. When you're really wanting to go big, there's a lot of inner work you are going to have to do. And it almost always boils down to worthiness. It's working on your own worthiness. It's really wild. And so it doesn't even show up that it's about money or you being uncomfortable with money or that you make more than anyone in your family. That also plays a role. But it's the worthiness. For me, it's that I deserve to make great money being exactly who I am and not overgiving. I can give just enough, show up as me, and I get to make millions doing that. I get to make great money doing that. I don't need to trade time for money. I make money passively and actively while I'm enjoying my life. I don't have to sacrifice of myself, my well-being, my time, or my energy to make wild, crazy money. And I still have to remind myself of this. This is why I have 3 coaches. In order to keep this in line, our egos are so strong and powerful, and they're not going anywhere. They're not going anywhere. And so if we don't keep that in check and make that type of inner work a priority and a daily practice in your life, you will start slipping and you will see your bank account slip with it. So anytime I get lazy, which we know I'm lazy, I am the self-proclaimed world's laziest business coach, which you always want to listen to a very successful lazy person because they will tell you the easiest way to do things. Because what are we not available for here in the posse? We are not available for doing unnecessarily hard things or hard work, which is why I waited until the last possible second to pack to move for 4 months to come to this beach house that I'm in right now. Yes, last minute. I was like, do I really want to pack slowly and be in pain slowly and unhappy slowly packing every day? Or do I just want to be really annoyed for like a solid day and a half and be a spaz and pack. I think the being a spaz and pack. Now, I could have hired someone to pack, but when I really thought about it, it wouldn't have worked because they don't know what I need to have packed, and it would have caused more work for myself. And why the fuck am I talking about this? Of course, I've gone off on a tangent again. Let's get back on track. You've got to do that really uncomfortable worthiness work if you want to make that wild money. And I know a lot of you listening want to make that wild money, but there's part of you that hasn't yet given yourself the permission to make it. So it really does start with the permission. You have to give yourself permission to make that level of money you want to make, and then be available for that. Claim that. Look and see what's possible. But a lot of times we're looking for external validation to give us permission that we can do it. We're looking outside of ourselves. We're wanting the proof to happen in the number of people who sign up for a freebie. We're wanting the proof to happen in the number of sales, clients, likes, followers, views. We're wanting it in, promotions, whatever it is. We're looking outside of ourselves. We're asking the universe for signs, and then it will drop a sign in your face. And then that sign's not enough. You're like, well, give me a more clear sign, the universe. And it's like, oh my God, how many signs does this girl need? You have to find that sign within you. You have to declare it within you. You have to give yourself permission and claim it as yours, and claim that you're going to do what it takes to get there. Humbly, right? And earnestly, you're going to do what it takes to get there. Because if you don't give yourself that permission, and you can look to God for that permission, but I know what God's going to say back to you. You have to anoint yourself. God's already anointed you. You're already a miracle. You're already here on this earth. You're already alive. You already are a miracle. It's that you've forgotten that you are. You've forgotten what you're here to do. You've gotten lost along the way of the craziness of this world. So I need you to start by giving yourself permission. You don't need to look at your parents for permission, your significant other for permission, other people in your circle. I need you to give that to yourself. I now give myself permission to make wild money doing something that I love and having fun while doing it. And I'm willing to take the necessary actions and do what it takes on repeat in order for that to happen, and be a humble servant, a humble student, and learn. It really is that simple. The hard part is staying in that energy of where you believe it. This episode right now probably is helping you be in that energy, but as soon as you're done with this, it might last an hour. Something else happens. You might even get like an unexpected bill, and you're like, see, this shit doesn't work. I guarantee that's going to happen for some of you. And that's when you have to have the discipline to come back and go, hold on a second. Let's look for evidence in the big picture that this is available and possible for me. Of course you're going to get unexpected bills. This is fucking life. Of course you're going to owe more in taxes than you thought, or not get as much back as you thought. It's fucking life. It's part of it. That has no contingency. That is you looking on something outside of yourself for validation that you are worthy of making wild, massive cash. And you're looking for evidence of saying, oh, you're not. See, you get a bill, an unexpected bill. See, it's not possible for you. Oh, your car broke down. See, it's not possible for you. That is not true. You've just been trained subconsciously to look for evidence in the other way. You are spending so much time and energy looking for evidence of why it's not possible for you, on why it won't work out. I want you to at least give yourself the grace to put just as much energy and time into looking for evidence of why it is possible for you and why it will work out. Isn't that only fair? At least put in equal energy. If you're going to seek energy why you're not capable, you can't do it, why it won't work, why it's not possible for you, at least have fair balance and put that equal amount of energy and time into looking for evidence and finding reasons why you can do it and why it is possible for you. I think that's fair. I think that's a fair agreement for you to walk away from this episode with. So if you really have been loving the show or you're new to it, this is your first episode, welcome. To say happy birthday to me and show the gratitude for the show. Again, I am giving away $10 gift cards for you to buy your beverage of choice so we can say a virtual cheers to one another. All you got to do is leave a 5-star written Apple Podcast review, put your name or Instagram handle in the review so I know it's you. DM me on Instagram at ProjectME with Tiffany with a screenshot of the review and let me know, say hi, and I will send you a $10 gift card. And this is how that abundance works, right? You are a listener. You guys give your time and energy and love to me, and I want to give back to you. And this is how we keep that circle of abundance going. All right. Love you guys so much. Wishing you great health, wealth, and worth as always. Bye. If you enjoyed this podcast, please write a 5-star review on iTunes. Not only will this make me super happy, but it will allow more listeners to find our special show. Simply help me help others.